What if I told you that every second you hesitate, reality is already slipping through your fingers? What if the life you are living right now is not chosen, but programmed? Look around. The same walls, the same streets, the same tired routine. Do you really think this is all there is? Listen carefully. Your mind is not just a passenger. It is the command center, the invisible force that bends what tomorrow looks like. Fear is not harmless. Doubt is not harmless. They are the prison guards, keeping you locked in a life too small for you. But here is the truth. Every belief, every emotion is a signal, and reality listens. The question is simple. Will you keep broadcasting weakness, or will you dare to declare a new reality? Because the moment you decide, the shift begins. And if you wait too long, that door will close forever. Now let me ask you this. Is reality fixed, carved in stone, unchangeable? Or is it bending, shaping, shifting according to the signals you send out every single day? Two people can stand on the same street, staring at the same picture of life. Yet one sees only dead ends, while the other sees endless possibility. Why is that? What invisible force makes one mind feel trapped and another mind feel free? Think about your own life. You wake up. You go to work. You come home tired. You scroll through distractions. Day after day, the cycle repeats. And deep inside, a voice whispers. Nothing ever really changes. That voice is not just noise. It is the program running your reality. And when you accept it, you build invisible bars around yourself. A prison made out of your own expectations. But reality is not fixed. Reality is a mirror. It reflects the frequency you carry, the beliefs you hold, the emotions you feed. When you project fear, you see reasons to be afraid. When you project doubt, you encounter walls. When you project worthiness, courage, and vision, doors that once seemed locked begin to open. Modern physics has already revealed the unsettling truth. The double-slit experiment. Particles of light and matter behaving one way when unobserved, but shifting their behavior when observed. The act of observation changes the outcome. Attention is not passive. Attention is creative. What you look at, what you believe, what you expect, bends the very fabric of what shows up. This is not abstract theory. This is proof that your consciousness participates in building the world you see. Every choice, every belief, every vibration is a blueprint. You are not stuck in one future. You are selecting from infinite possibilities. Right now, dot and history whispers the same lesson. Think of Steve Jobs. From a small garage, surrounded by nothing but ordinary walls, he decided to create instead of repeat. He once said, "Everything you see around you was built by people no smarter than you, and you can change it." He did not wait for permission. He did not wait for the world to tell him it was possible. He chose to bend reality, and Apple was born. So what about you? How many doors stayed closed because you could not imagine yourself worthy of stepping through? How many times has fear blocked you? How many times did doubt convince you that your life was already written? The truth is harsh but freeing. You are the author, not fate, not circumstance. You, and here is the first step, a declaration. If your current world feels too heavy, if your reality feels too loud, too demanding, too small, then you must break the program. Right here, right now. Type it into existence. Say it out loud. I want to create a new reality right now. Do not dismiss this as simple words. A conscious act is a seed. The tiniest shift in frequency plants the roots of transformation. But wait. Ask yourself, what if inside you are still filled with fear? What if you carry doubt like a shadow? Can reality truly change if your signal remains the same? This is the challenge. The hidden lock. Reality bends, but it bends according to your vibration. You cannot declare freedom while carrying the weight of chains. So the question comes back, stronger, sharper. Will you release the fear? Will you release the doubt? Or will you let them dictate another year, another decade, another lifetime? The choice stands in front of you like a doorway. One side leads to repetition. The other side leads to creation. Most people never cross. They look at the door, they feel the weight of their prison, and they tell themselves change is impossible. But not you. Not now. You have heard the truth. You cannot unhear it. You cannot go back to believing reality is fixed. So ask yourself one final time, what if reality is waiting on you? What if the very act of believing differently is the key? Will you keep choosing smallness? Or will you step into the unknown and declare your power? Because the clock is ticking. Every second you hesitate, reality slips through your fingers. And the moment you decide, the shift begins. The only question left is, are you ready to create? Reality only changes when you dare to step through fear. Because fear is the thinnest wall, yet it keeps you separated from the true power within you. Ask yourself this. How many dreams have you abandoned because fear whispered that you might fail? How many times have you stood at the edge of possibility, only to turn back because the voice of fear grew louder than the voice of vision? Fear is not your enemy. Fear is not a chain. Fear is the key. Once, long ago, fear had a purpose. It kept you alive. It made you run from danger. But now, in a world without lions chasing you, fear disguises itself as hesitation. It shows up as doubt. It appears as excuses. And it convinces you that staying small is safe. But what if safety is the real trap? What if the fear you obey is the prison that keeps you from meeting your true self? Picture this. You want to start a new project. You feel the spark. You see the vision. But then the questions creep in. What if I fail? What will people think? What if I am not enough? That moment is the turning point. And most people surrender. They walk away before they even begin. Science reveals what happens inside you. Harvard studies show that fear and anxiety trigger the amygdala, the ancient part of your brain built for survival. It floods your body with signals to stop, to freeze, to run. But you are not stuck with this reaction. Cognitive reframing allows you to take the very same sensation and rename it. Instead of, I am afraid, you say, I am excited. The heart races the same way. The breath quickens the same way. But the meaning shifts. And when the meaning shifts, fear transforms into fuel. This is not theory. This is transformation. Think of Oprah Winfrey. She was not born into privilege. She was not handed a stage. She began as a girl in poverty, carrying scars of abuse, carrying the belief that she was unworthy. Fear told her she was too small, too broken, too unimportant. But she dared to step through it. She chose to redefine fear, to claim her voice, and to walk through that thin wall. On the other side, she discovered the power that built an empire. Today, she is not remembered for being fearless, but for being brave enough to walk with fear until it surrendered. So what about you? Will you let fear stop you at the edge? Or will you press your hand against that thin wall and realize it is paper, not stone? Listen carefully. Every time you step through fear, even in the smallest way, you reclaim a piece of yourself. You prove that the prison was never locked. You prove that the giant standing in your path was only a shadow. And here is the invitation. If you have ever conquered even the smallest fear in your life, click like right now. Not for me, for you. To prove to yourself that you are stronger than you thought, that you have already crossed through fear before, and you can do it again. But the real question remains, Once fear dissolves, once the wall falls, what then? What will you do with the energy that is released? Fear, when transformed, becomes raw power. It becomes fire. And fire must be directed. So I ask you, when fear no longer holds you, how will you use that power? Will you channel it into creating? Will you use it to build, to speak, to love, to lead? Or will you waste it, letting it burn away in silence? The truth is clear. Fear is not here to stop you. Fear is here to test you, to ask if you are ready, to see if you will step forward or retreat. And every time you step forward, you are rewarded, not with instant success, but with growth, with courage, with momentum. This is your turning point. This is the moment when the old story ends and the new story begins. Fear will not vanish, but it will no longer own you. You will own it. So let me ask you again. How many times will you let fear dictate your future? How many chances will you let slip because you believed the wall was real? And how many more times will you ignore the truth? The wall is thin. The wall is fragile. The wall is waiting for you to walk through. Remember this. Reality only changes when you dare to step through fear. And every act of courage plants the seed of transformation. So the challenge is simple. The wall is in front of you. The question is, will you touch it, push it, walk through it? Because when you do, you will realize that the strength you are searching for has always been inside you. And when the fear finally quiets, you will hear it. The voice of power, the voice of creation, the voice of your true self. And then the next question rises. When fear has dissolved, when you have reclaimed your strength, how will you turn that power into creation? Emotions are fuel. If you know how to adjust them, they become the strongest engine that can take you anywhere. Asterisk. But here is the question. Have you been driving with the wrong fuel? Have you been letting stress, anger, or frustration poison your engine? Have you been running on scarcity instead of abundance? Think about it. You want to move forward. You want to create. Yet every time stress from work piles up, every time disappointment drags you down, your energy collapses. You feel heavy. You feel stuck. You feel like you cannot take one more step. But what if I told you this truth? Emotions are not your enemy. They are not random storms that hit you without reason. They are signals. They are energy. And energy can be directed. Positive emotions expand you. They align with abundance. They open doors you never thought existed. Negative emotions shrink you. They lock you inside scarcity. They close possibilities before you even try. Science confirms this. Barbara Fredrickson from the University of North Carolina proved that positive emotions literally broaden your thought-action repertoire. They expand your mind. They increase creativity. They help you see solutions you would otherwise miss. Stress narrows your focus. Joy expands it. Anxiety closes your vision. Gratitude opens it. So the question is simple. Which fuel will you choose? History gives us powerful reminders. Take Walt Disney. Once upon a time, he was fired. They told him he lacked creativity. Imagine the weight of that moment. Imagine the sting of rejection. That emotion could have crushed him. It could have become poison. But instead, he transformed it. He turned pain into power. He used disappointment as fuel. And from that fuel, he built one of the most imaginative empires the world has ever seen. Disney exists because one man refused to let negative energy define him. He chose creation over collapse. Now, look at yourself. How many times have you let stress silence your ideas? How many times have you let fear steal your creativity? How many times have you carried anger until it burned away your energy? Listen carefully. Every emotion you feel is raw power. But power without direction is chaos. The secret is not to kill emotion. The secret is to channel it. When stress rises, pause and ask, what is this energy trying to tell me? When frustration builds, ask, how can I turn this fire into fuel for action? When joy appears, hold it, magnify it, and let it carry you into creation. Your emotions are not chains. They are tools. They are teachers. They are engines. So here is the invitation. If you are ready to stop treating emotions as enemies and start using them as allies, declare it. Comment right now. I choose creative energy. Let the act of writing it down plant a seed, a conscious signal that you will no longer waste your fuel. But wait, there is still a challenge. Life will not stop testing you. Work will still bring stress. People will still disappoint you. The world will still throw obstacles. So how do you maintain positive energy when life feels heavy? How do you keep the engine running when the road is uphill? That is the question you must carry forward. Because once you learn to master it, you no longer fear your emotions. You harness them. You ride them. You become unstoppable. So ask yourself right now, when the next wave of stress hits, will you drown in it? Or will you surf it, using its force to carry you further than before? Remember this. Emotions are fuel. Adjust them, direct them, and they will take you anywhere you want to go. It is not about removing the storm, but about becoming the eye of the storm, the place of stillness within chaos. Ask yourself this. What happens when the ground beneath you shakes? What happens when everything you relied on collapses in a single moment? Imagine losing your job. Imagine watching your entire sense of stability crumble overnight. Do you panic? Do you drown in fear? Or do you discover the stillness that no storm can touch? Life will test you again and again. You cannot control the winds. You cannot silence the thunder. But you can choose where you stand. You can step into the eye. The secret is not to fight the storm. The secret is to shift your attention inward, to breathe, to observe, to remember that chaos is not inside you unless you invite it. Science confirms this. Stanford researchers studied mindfulness and discovered that it lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that floods your body when fear strikes. Mindfulness strengthens resilience. It does not remove the storm. It gives you the strength to stand while the storm rages around you. Picture this moment. You close your eyes. You inhale slowly. You feel the breath moving through you. You exhale, letting tension leave your body. You do not chase thoughts. You do not fight feelings. You observe. You witness. You remind yourself that you are not the storm. You are the calm watching the storm. And then something shifts. The pressure that once crushed you loses its grip. The fear that once ruled you becomes quiet. You realize that the power to survive the chaos was never outside. It was always within. Let me tell you a story. After the war in Iraq, a veteran returned home carrying invisible wounds. He faced nightmares, panic, and the constant weight of trauma. The storm never ended. It lived inside him. But through meditation and mindfulness, he found a way to return to the center. Slowly, breath by breath, he stepped into the eye of the storm. He reclaimed his peace, and he built a center to help other veterans do the same. His healing became a beacon for thousands. Proof that even in the fiercest storm, you can find stillness. So what about you? Will you let the storm define you? Or will you dare to become the eye of the storm? Listen closely. This is not philosophy. This is practice. Every inhale and exhale is a choice. Every moment of observation is power. You are training your mind to separate from chaos. You are teaching yourself that emotions are visitors, not masters. That fear is noise, not identity. And here is the challenge. Next time life shakes you, pause. Take one breath. Notice the sensation in your chest. Notice the thought trying to pull you into panic. And instead of reacting, watch it. In that space of watching, you discover freedom. So here is my invitation to you. If you are ready to try to claim your calm in the middle of the storm, then like this right now. Not as a meaningless click, but as a vow. A promise to yourself that you will no longer be ruled by the winds. That you will stand in the center. Because the storm will come again. The question is, who will you be when it does? The one tossed in chaos? Or the one unshaken in the calm center? Remember this. Strength is not the absence of storms. Strength is becoming unmovable within them. And every act of mindfulness, every breath you take with awareness, builds that strength. But once you have found the calm, once you have entered the eye, another question arises. What do you do with that stillness? How do you transform that clarity into creation? Because calm is not the end. Calm is the beginning of directing your attention, your focus, your energy into shaping the world you want to see. So ask yourself, when the storm has quieted inside, how will you use the silence? Will you let it fade? Or will you turn it into the power to create? Where you place your attention, there it blooms. But let me ask you, what have you been watering with your attention? Have you been shining the spotlight on fear, on doubt, on obstacles? Have you been feeding the very things that keep you small? Attention is not passive. Attention is creation. Wherever you direct it, energy flows, and whatever you feed begins to grow. Focus on problems, and problems multiply. Focus on possibility, and doors begin to open. Think of attention like the light on a stage. The actor who stands in the spotlight becomes the star. Everything else fades into the background. Your life works the same way. What you choose to illuminate with your attention becomes the center of your reality. This is not just philosophy. It is science. Neuroplasticity proves that your brain rewires itself according to where you place attention. Patterns repeat. Connections strengthen. Focus on stress long enough, and your brain becomes an expert at stress. Focus on gratitude and vision, and your brain becomes a master at finding solutions and opportunities. Your attention is literally sculpting your mind. So ask yourself, what kind of brain are you building every day? History offers a powerful reminder. Michael Phelps, the greatest Olympian in history, did not simply train his body. Before every race, he trained his attention. He visualized every movement, every stroke, every turn of the pool with absolute precision. His coach called it watching the videotape in his mind. By the time he entered the water, his brain had already rehearsed victory. The result? 23 Olympic gold medals. Proof that attention, when disciplined, creates champions. And what about you? How many times have you lost energy because you kept replaying the wrong tape? How many times have you given the spotlight to fear instead of possibility? Listen carefully. You are the director of your stage. The spotlight is in your hand. The audience is your future. And the question is, what will you place in the light? Attention is power. Attention is the seed of reality. And right now, you have the chance to reclaim it. So here is the invitation. Comment right now. I choose focus. Let that act remind you that you control the spotlight of your life. That you will no longer waste attention on shadows. That you will direct it toward creation. But wait, there is a deeper question. Is attention alone enough? Is shining the spotlight enough to make the actor real? Or is there another step, something that transforms vision into matter, focus into reality? Because the truth is this: attention is the first power, but it must be followed by alignment, action, and energy. Without those, attention is a seed never planted. But with them, attention becomes the most unstoppable force in your life. So ask yourself now, will you keep scattering your attention on distractions? Or will you concentrate it like a laser on the future you want? Will you keep shining the light on the problem? Or will you finally turn the spotlight onto the solution? Remember this, where you place your attention, there it blooms. And if you want a new reality, the first step is choosing what deserves the light, but the mystery remains. Only attention is not enough. What transforms the spotlight into solid creation? That is the next secret waiting for you to discover. Attention is the arrow, but belief is the bow fully drawn dot. So let me ask you, what happens if you aim with focus, but your bow is weak? What happens if you direct all your attention, yet deep inside, you do not believe you can hit the target? The arrow falls short. The dream collapses. The effort fades. Belief is the foundation. Belief decides what is possible and what is impossible. Belief shapes whether you continue or whether you quit. Think about it. You can study for hours. You can pour energy into learning. But if you secretly believe you are not smart enough, that belief will sabotage you. You will doubt. You will hesitate. And eventually, you will stop. Not because the challenge was impossible, but because belief whispered you could not do it. This is why belief is the hidden key. It does not simply color your thoughts. It constructs your reality. Science reveals the shocking power of belief. The placebo effect. Patients given sugar pills, told they are receiving real medicine, often heal. Their bodies respond as if the treatment were real. Pain fades. Symptoms lessen. Biology shifts. Why? Because the mind believed. Belief became chemistry. Belief became healing. Belief became truth inside the body. So what about you? How many limits in your life exist only because you believe them? How many doors stayed closed not because they were locked, but because your belief told you not to turn the handle? History shows us this lesson again and again. Henry Ford once said, "Whether you think you can or you think you cannot, you are right." That belief was not just words. It was the seed of an empire. Ford believed in building cars for the masses. He believed when others laughed. He believed when others doubted. And because he believed, he acted. His belief gave birth to the American automobile industry. Now pause. Look inward. What beliefs are running your life right now? Do you believe you are capable? Do you believe you are worthy? Or do you believe you are stuck, too small, too late? Listen carefully. Every belief you hold is programming reality. Every belief is a filter through which the world bends. Change the belief, and the reality that reflects back at you begins to shift. So here is the challenge. Will you keep repeating the old beliefs that chain you? Or will you plant new ones that unlock your strength? It begins with a declaration. If you are ready to strengthen new beliefs, mark this moment. Like this video right now. Not for me, for yourself. As a signal to your mind. As proof that you are committed to building a new foundation. Because once you anchor new beliefs, everything else aligns. Your attention becomes sharper. Your emotions rise higher. Your actions flow stronger. Belief pulls the arrow back, giving it power. Attention aims the arrow, and the release creates impact. But let me leave you with a deeper mystery. What if belief alone is not enough? What if your bow is strong, but you still need the fire of emotion to lift your belief to the highest frequency? That is the question. If belief is the key, what emotion fuels it into unstoppable force? When you look through the lens of love, every limit dissolves instantly. But ask yourself this. What happens when rejection strikes? What happens when life closes a door in your face? Do you respond with anger, with bitterness, with resentment? Or do you choose love? Do you choose gratitude? Do you choose the frequency that transforms pain into power? Love is not weakness. Love is the highest frequency of creation. It is the energy that dissolves resistance, that aligns your heart and your mind into harmony. Think of it like this. Anger is heavy. Fear is sharp. Doubt is narrow. But love expands. Gratitude expands. They create space where once there were walls. They open doors that force could never move. Science proves it. The HeartMath Institute has shown that when you enter a state of heart coherence, when your heart and brain move in harmony, your entire body shifts. Stress decreases. Immunity rises. Clarity increases. Love is not just an emotion. It is biology. It is electricity. It is coherence that turns chaos into balance. So let me ask you, what would change in your life if, instead of reacting with anger, you chose love? What possibilities would open if, instead of drowning in scarcity, you magnified gratitude? History gives us a powerful reminder. After the tragedy of 9/11, a mother lost her child. The pain could have destroyed her. The anger could have consumed her. But she chose differently. She chose love. She chose gratitude for the life her child had lived. And from that place, she created a scholarship fund that helped thousands of children. Out of unbearable loss, she birthed opportunity for others. Her love became her legacy. Now think of your own life. How many moments have you allowed anger to shrink you? How many times have you let rejection convince you that you were powerless? And what if, in those very moments, you had chosen love? What if you had chosen gratitude? Would the outcome have been the same? Listen carefully. Love is the master frequency. Gratitude is the amplifier. Together, they free you from the invisible chains of resistance. They connect you to creation itself. So here is the invitation. If you are ready to align with the highest frequency, declare it now. Comment, I choose love. Let those words be more than text. Let them be a signal, a vibration, a commitment that you will no longer feed anger or scarcity, but instead rise to the power of love. Because love is not passive. Love is not naive. Love is the force that dissolves barriers, heals wounds, and fuels creation. But here lies the mystery. Is love alone enough? Can love by itself transform every dream into reality? Or is there one more step, one more key that turns this frequency into solid manifestation? The question is waiting for you. Because once you learn it, you will understand how love becomes not only healing, but creation itself. Only when you stop gripping so tightly can what you desire finally flow to you. But ask yourself this. How many times have you chased so hard that the very thing you wanted slipped further away? How many nights have you stayed awake worrying about money, about success, about approval, only to feel it all drift farther and farther from your reach? The harder you cling, the heavier the resistance. The more you demand control, the less flow you allow. Let me tell you a secret. Letting go is not giving up. Letting go is trusting. Letting go is releasing resistance so that life can bring you what belongs to you. Think of a river. The water never struggles to move. It flows around rocks, around obstacles. It finds its way. But what happens if you try to dam the river with fear, with doubt, with obsession? The current is blocked. The energy stops. The same is true for you. Science has already shown this truth. Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi discovered the state called flow. The moment when you lose yourself in the act, when time disappears, when your energy and your work merge as one. It is the state of highest creativity, highest performance, highest joy. And it happens not when you force, but when you release control. When you step into trust. So ask yourself, When was the last time you truly felt in flow? When was the last time you allowed yourself to act without fear, to create without gripping, to move without forcing? History proves it. Jeff Bezos once stood at a crossroads. He had a safe job on Wall Street, stability, security, a clear path. But something inside called him to risk, to release the safe path, to let go of certainty. He chose to trust the flow of vision instead of gripping the comfort of the known. That choice birthed Amazon, the empire that reshaped commerce across the world. So what about you? What dream have you been strangling by holding too tight? What desire have you been blocking by gripping it with fear instead of letting it flow through trust? Listen carefully. Letting go does not mean doing nothing. It means aligning. It means allowing. It means releasing the desperate need to control every detail so that opportunities can finally reach you. The more you trust, the more doors open. The more you release, the more flow carries you to places effort alone could never take you. Asterisk, so here is my invitation. If you are ready to trust the current of life, if you are ready to release the grip of fear, declare it. Comment now. I trust the flow. Let those words be your vow. Let them mark the moment when you stop strangling your desires and start allowing them to arrive. But I will ask you this. Once you let go, once you step into flow, how will you remain steady? How will you stop yourself from running back to the old fears, the old doubts, the old need for control? Because the river will keep moving. The current will test your trust, and the choice will rise again. Will you cling, or will you release? Remember this. Letting go is not weakness. Letting go is mastery. Letting go is the art of stepping into the state where creation moves through you effortlessly. So I leave you with the question. When you finally let go, when you finally trust, how will you hold steady in that flow and never return to the prison of fear? Strength does not come from one moment, but from consistent repetition. Ask yourself this. How many times have you started strong, only to quit too soon? How many times have you gone to the gym for 2 weeks, felt the fire, and then let it die? And what happened? No results. No transformation. Because strength is not built in a burst. It is built in persistence. Reality works the same way. You cannot hold a new frequency for one day and expect the universe to rearrange itself. You cannot meditate once, believe once, or act once and demand miracles. The universe responds to consistency, to rhythm, to the frequency you hold, again and again, until it becomes who you are. Think of your brain. Neuroplasticity proves this. New neural pathways do not form overnight. They require repetition. They require you to choose the new belief, the new thought, the new emotion, again and again, until the old path withers and the new path strengthens. Without consistency, the old programming wins. With consistency, the new reality takes root. So the real question is this. Will you commit to the repetition? Will you hold the new frequency long enough for reality to reflect it back? Or will you quit before the shift arrives? History shows us what consistency creates. Sylvester Stallone wrote Rocky. He poured his soul into it. He believed in it when no one else did. And then he faced rejection. Not once, not twice. Over 150 times. Door after door slammed in his face. But he refused to quit. He held his frequency. He stood in his vision. And at last, the world responded. Rocky became a legend. Stallone became an icon. Not because of one attempt, but because of relentless consistency. So now, it is your turn. How many rejections will it take before you give up? How many days of silence will it take before you stop showing up? Or will you choose to keep going, no matter how long it takes? Listen carefully. Consistency is the bridge between belief and reality. Consistency is the proof you give to the universe that you are serious, that you are not playing, that you are not testing the waters, that you are committed. And here is the invitation. If you are ready to step into true consistency, mark this moment. Like this video now, not as a click, as a promise to yourself that you will hold the new frequency until it becomes your new identity. Because the truth is simple. Power belongs to the consistent. Reality bends for the ones who refuse to let go. But the mystery remains. Once you have mastered consistency, once you have held your frequency steady, what comes next? What is the final step that turns you from someone who practices into someone who becomes? That is the question waiting for you. Because once you answer it, you will not just be a dreamer. You will be a creator. The moment you choose action, you officially become the creator of your reality. But ask yourself this. How many times have you read a book, watched a video, listened to wisdom, and then done nothing? How many times have you felt the spark, but never moved? And what happened? Nothing changed. Nothing shifted. Because knowing is not enough. Only action creates transformation. You are standing at the edge of decision. On one side is the comfort of repetition. On the other side is the leap into creation. Which will you choose? Science proves it. Researchers at New York University discovered something called implementation intention. When people write down a specific plan, not just a vague idea, their chance of acting successfully doubles. Why? Because clarity unlocks movement. Vague dreams stay in the clouds. Specific action brings them to earth. So here is the truth. Even the smallest step matters. Even the tiniest action sends a signal, a whisper to the universe that says, I am ready. I am moving. I am creating. Think of Elon Musk. He did not stop at dreaming about rockets. He did not just imagine Mars. He acted. He built SpaceX when the world mocked him, when experts called him insane, when failure looked certain. But his action spoke louder than fear. His action bent reality. And now rockets return from space, landing on Earth with precision, because one man acted instead of only dreaming. So what about you? How long will you wait? How many more times will you consume without creating? How many more days will pass before you finally declare with action that you are the creator of your reality? Listen carefully. This is not about grand gestures. This is about the next step. A message, a plan, a choice. One action, no matter how small, begins momentum. And momentum changes everything. So here is my invitation to you. If this video reached you, if it stirred something inside, then prove it with action. Like this video. Comment right now. I choose to be a creator. Share this message with someone you want beside you on this journey. Let the act itself be the beginning. Because the universe is not listening to your thoughts alone. It is watching your moves. And let me remind you of something powerful. Out of millions of videos, you chose this one. That choice itself is action. That choice itself is a declaration. And the universe has already heard it. The question is, will you take the next step? Will you anchor it with action so that this moment becomes the turning point of your life? Do not underestimate the power of this choice. Do not let it pass like a fleeting thought. Declare it. Write it. Share it. Anchor it in reality. Because once you do, you are no longer waiting. You are no longer hoping. You are creating. So ask yourself again, when will you start? Tomorrow? Next week? Or right now? Remember this. The moment you choose action, you officially become the creator of your reality. And today, that power is in your hands.